Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 49th installment
Meet me in the morning
of the Bobby Kudo Show.
56 and Wabi Shop. Meet me in the morning 56 and Wabi Shop.
I hope you missed me as much as I missed you.
Honey, we could be in Kansas by the time the snow begins to thaw.
Mr. Bob Dylan with Meet Me in the Morning, 1975, off his album Blood and Tracks. Go give that a listen. Welcome everyone to the 49th installment of the Bobby Kudo Show. I know it's been a minute, but you know what? I'd like to think it's worth it.
Right before the dawn.
When's the last time you heard this one?
Honey, you wouldn't know it by me.
So go add it to your playlist right now,
Darkness since you've been gone.
or just play the podcast over and over again. So here we are, the first episode of 2021. Welcome everybody. I hope 2020 treated you well, or as well as can be expected. And I hope 2021 is better. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're just looking at a mark in time, guys. That's it. The earth doesn't change. It still spins the same revolutions around the sun. Doesn't care if it's 2021 or 2051. But here we are, guys. Here we are. So many crazy events taking place. So many crazy things happening in the world. With a heavy heart, we already say goodbye to legends like Dawn Elberta Wells, better known as Mrs. Mary Ann Summers from the TV sitcom Gilligan's Island. She died 82 years young. Louise Tina Louise. She's the only one left. And she's 86. So, almost saying goodbye to another generation of Gilligan's Island. Remember seeing that on TV all the time. So welcome everybody. Be quite honest with you. Not sure if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm a little under the weather. Not because I'm sick or of some virus, but ultimately I think it's a moral dilemma for me. You know, I come on here and I've always had a dream of having a voice on a platform that, you know, I could speak my mind, my opinion, but also mine and explore opinions and voices of others. I've been around for a little bit. I've met a lot of great people in my life, and I continue to keep a lot of those great people in my life because I strongly believe that you're only as successful as the people you surround yourself with. And that is truly the mantra. If you hang around with a bunch of bums, then the only advice you're getting are from people who can't get out of their own way. But if you choose to surround yourself with people that are successful, choose success, and want to be successful, well, that just inspires you to do better. You know, it's easy for us to all blame someone else. It's her fault. It's his fault. It's the government. They're holding me back. But at the end of the day, we are the only ones that create these barriers. The only one telling you no is you. The only one telling you that you can't move forward is you. You know the voices on your shoulder, the devil, the angel. Which one are you speaking to? When you get up in the morning, do you choose to put on your shoes, or would you rather sit in slippers all day long? Don't get me wrong. I'm a slipper guy once in a while myself. But for the majority of the time, I'm strapping my boots on. Why? Because I feel like I want to make a difference. Why? Because I feel like I want to have impact in the world. I can't be the only one that feels this way. I know that you probably all feel the same way. But especially now in this time with the government and the breach on the Capitol, the changing of the guard, you know, this inauguration coming up, 4 days, it's very unnerving, regardless of what side you're on. Either way, uncertainty is always scary. You're never quite sure how it's all going to turn out. We all think we have a plan. What's the 5-year plan? Will I make it there? If you thought you did, I think doubt moves the brain. Doubt moves the driven. If you have doubt, then you seek the answers. But right now, it's so foggy, so unclear. You almost wonder how you can get through. Who can you communicate with? Who's going to be honest with you? You can see relationships that are broken, friendships devastated, people demoralizing one another. People doing things in the name of a government or an idealism that really doesn't even fit their narrative. But they've gotten so caught up in the fight that they don't even realize what they're fighting for anymore. you see all these things on TV, and a lot of it seems to look like it's real. You see things from an angle. But, in my past, in my history, I've always thought with the idea of two sides to every story, and somewhere along the line, in the middle, usually lies the truth. But in this case, the information that we're receiving, the information that we're consuming is so either one-sided, it's really, really tough to find the middle. Where am I getting to? What's the point of this rant? What's the point of this opening today? Well, the point of this opening today is if you're going to start 2021 believing that it's going to be any different than 2020, then you're going to have another year of disappointment. What you need to do is realize that it doesn't matter what year it is. What matters is what day is it. Your success comes one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 second at a time. And the amount of time you choose to invest into those goals and those achievements is the outcome. That's the bottom line. I like to think I've always worked really hard in my life. And a lot of the people that I know in my life work very, very hard. Most of us work 12-hour days. Some of us even work 16-hour days. So I ask you this. If you work a 12-hour day, if you work a 16-hour day, if you collect a paycheck from someone else, if you were to invest those 12, 16, 18-hour days into your craft, into what you love, imagine the success that you could achieve. No, really. I know it's so easy to look at that and say, well, it's easy to say it, Bobby, because you're just talking about giving everything up and starting your own career and doing something you love. Well, I'll tell you what. I deal with a lot of vendors. I deal with a lot of people who have their own businesses. And the one thing that they all have in common is, one, they really, really provide great service. And that's why I do business with them. And they always follow through. So I challenge you. What do you love to do? What are your goals? What are your successes? Find those. Because if those are your passions, then it's inevitable. If you're doing the thing that you love most and you become the master at it, then people will pay you for it, as long as you ask a fair wage. When you think about it, the My Pillows of the world, that was all an idea. That was all somebody who took an idea, put a label on it, marketed it, and is making a boatload of money. Is Mike Wardell smarter than you? Is he a business genius? No. He's a man who reinvented the pillow, and now he's making a lot of money. Why can't that be you? If you're going to start this next year right, then you really need to find a direction and a path. Because if we continue on the current path of what we're doing, or if you continue on the current path you're doing, I think we're just going to be up for more of the same. Huge disappointment. No more beaches, no more clubs. Imagine an existence of this being the normal from here on forward. I mean, these are crazy, crazy times. The longer that we live in this realm, the longer that we live in this bubble, the more comfortable we become, or the more numb we become to the situation that we're in. I mean, I can still smell the cigarette smoke from being in a nightclub. I almost can't remember what the bass feels like. Remember the bass? It's gone. It's so far away. So we got to figure out how we're going to get through this. Is the COVID the stopper? Is it all of a sudden now that Joe Biden gets inaugurated that the virus goes away? Well, the funny thing is, before I decided to record today, I said, gee, what are the COVID numbers? 23 million people have had the virus. In the last 7 days, 1.5 million people have contracted the virus. And to date, 390,938 people have passed from the virus. So when you look at the map and you really realize, and you look at the scope of the coronavirus in the country, if you look at Massachusetts, which happens to be the state that I live in, per capita, we're talking about 100,000 people. So per 100,000 people, right now in Massachusetts, 77.8% with 194 deaths. That's in the last 7 days. If I go to Florida and I look at the map, they are at 64.1 with 110 deaths. I question this, and I ask you all, if we're wearing masks, in Massachusetts, we have a mask mandate. We all have to wear masks. In Florida, Governor DeSantis says you do not. People are not wearing masks. So how is it that the infection rate in Florida is less than the infection rate in the state of Massachusetts? I know you're all saying, oh, gee, Bobby, the state of Florida is much bigger than the state of Massachusetts. Well, all the more case, right? Like you would think that Florida has more people per capita. But this study was done, and it was done per 100,000 people. So no matter how you look at it, is the mask actually working? Again, I'm not looking for trouble. I'm just looking behind the curtain. If if they're not wearing masks in Florida, we're wearing masks in Massachusetts, then by far our infection rate should be much lower than that of which is in Florida. You know what, folks? I challenge you to go find out this information for yourselves, because the truth of the matter is it's not. There are more infection rates in the state of Massachusetts, and we're wearing masks. Florida has less, and they're not wearing masks. Again, I'm not making this stuff up. But if you're looking really to go to the next level, and you want to figure out which states are the safest to live right now from the coronavirus, well, you got North Dakota. They are at 21.7% per 100,000, and Vermont is at 25.5 per 100,000 people. So there you have it. So North Dakota and Vermont are the states to move to if you don't want to deal with the coronavirus anymore. And masks really, I mean, according to this, masks aren't really effective. So you do with that information what you will. I just like to throw it out there. Again, like I tell you, I'm not smarter than you guys. I just want to share the information that I have. So take that and do with it what you will. Moving on, right? Let's move on a little bit. We talk about the NRA. This is big news. Just came in yesterday. The NRA has actually filed bankruptcy in the state of New York and is moving all of its properties and ownership to the state of Texas. It's decided, it's made, and it doesn't surprise me, between Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio, it doesn't surprise me that, obviously the NRA, I believe the only thing keeping the NRA in New York prior to this was the Trump administration. So now that that's the case, I think we're pretty close to closing that deal with Biden. So the NRA is going to Texas. That's a big deal. That's going to hurt the New York economy. They employ a lot of people, and they put a lot of money back into the state, regardless of how you feel. I mean, the NRA is one of the largest member organizations in the country. You know what? They do a lot for the Second Amendment. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of shenanigans that go on over there at the NRA, but at the end of the day, there's still a lot of influence going on there. So again, be on the lookout for that. What a rant on that, huh? Big, long rant on the intro. I'm so grateful for all of you for being here. I really appreciate it. I know, again, it's been a minute. The last episode I recorded was back in December 19th of 2020, and haven't again, if you guys know, I mean, if you're a fan of the Bobby Kudo Show, you guys know, been working with Steve Silvestri and Joe Costa with our new podcast, the Disgruntled American Podcast. I hope you guys have caught up on that. If you haven't, please go over, check it out. Apple, all your favorite platforms, we're available. The Disgruntled American Podcast. So I've been working on that with those guys, and again, and I've said it a million times on the show, it takes a lot of effort to put into these shows, and I always want it to be substance. I always want it to have purpose, and been really struggling to put something together. I was actually going to have Gary on episode 49, but just things didn't work out. I had some work things going on that really got in the way of what I needed to do. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was doing this at work, and had this project going on. It took a couple of days, a couple of long hours, and driving home, and I was actually going to record with Gary on Thursday, and it just kind of dawned on me that I'm always I'm preaching this idealism of do what you love, give it all up. Just if you're really, really passionate about something, do it. But again, here I am, like I'm a total hypocrite. I am driving, again working, long hours, huge responsibilities and commitments to another organization. Again, am I making somebody else rich? I don't know if I'm making anybody else rich, but I'm saving them a whole lot of money. And they tell you, there's no price you can put on peace of mind. So on the other end of that, if I get somebody like myself watching the helm, then I'm feeling pretty confident that things are going to be okay. So I do deliver that. And again, back to what I was saying, and I'm driving home, and I'm really tired. I wanted to record with Gary, and I actually said to myself, I'm like, hey, here's the situation, you're probably at one of those crossroads. And I felt like I really was at a crossroad. A couple of things that I'm struggling with. One, the idea with social media, the idea that Twitter, Facebook, Amazon, this tech tyranny that just has taken over. They've suspending everybody's account, the president's account. And again, I'll say it over again, like regardless of how you feel about Donald Trump, the bottom line is, he is a citizen of this country, and he's entitled to Twitter. He's entitled to a voice. He's entitled to the God-given right that we're all given. That's really the fundamental foundation of our Constitution. And once we lose that, I mean, the rest of again, it's a house of cards, guys. Once you take out that First Amendment, the rest of it all comes crashing down. You can't. I've mentioned a couple of podcasts, even in 48, and then when we were on the Disgruntled American Podcast. I kind of blamed politicians and saying that, maybe these guys, maybe these tech tyrants, they have these politicians because the politicians are in wrongdoings, and maybe they have some information on them. But you know what? Ultimately, I think it's the other way around, guys. The more research that I do, and the more reading that I do, it just seems like the politicians are the ones that, the AOCs of the world, the Nancy Pelosi's of the world, they're the ones that actually nudged these, these huge companies, the Twitters and Facebooks, and nudged them and said, hey, you guys might want to consider, removing Parler from the Apple App Store. And hey, Amazon, you provide the hosting service for Parler. You might want to reconsider that because that they're not moderated. Well, I will tell you guys, I am on Parler, and I see a lot worse on Twitter than I do on Parler. Twitter is an unmanned, uncontrolled environment. There is everything on Twitter. So I'm not quite sure, even if you wanted to go and if you wanted to take another to the next level, even pornography, there is no pornography on Parler. And Twitter is riddled with pornography. I was going through my personal feed the other day, and there it was. And I say to myself, if this is going through my feed, it's probably going through everybody's feed. You know what I mean? So how can Twitter be so tyrant about it and do that? It really, really bothered me. It really bothered me to the core, and it really made me question a lot of things. And I've always said to you, without the Facebooks and the Twitters, it makes it almost impossible for me to market the show, for me to put the show out there. Like, how else do you know when I drop a new episode? I put it on Facebook, I put it on Twitter, I put it on Parler. These are on TikTok. These are the platforms that I'm using to market the show. And so I say to myself, here's my contradiction, guys, is how do I choose to support this idealism of blocking free speech, but yet still somehow market my show and get the information to you about my show? Am I using Parler if it ever comes back? Am I watching my videos on Rumble because they're a conservative platform that's not going to ban me, that's not going to, take away my freedoms? And that, again, this really, really bothered me. I didn't think it was going to bother me this much, but it really did. I haven't been on social media all week. I just don't even want to look at it. I almost feel, I did put one post up on Facebook, and it was almost kind of sublime. And what it read was, you cheated and I don't want to play with you anymore. And that's really what I feel like. I feel like, it was no secret. I know that Google and Twitter and Facebook, I realized that they're always listening. Like I understood that they were always listening. I kind of always knew that, they're spying on me because they want this type of information. But now I almost realized what they're really taking from me. They really are taking all of my information. They know more about me than my family does. They know every single thing that I type into my phone. Do you realize that? That Google and Facebook know every single thing that you type into your phone? Even if you had a thought about something, a personal thought, and you were looking for an answer for that, even if it was emotional or a medical, you got a rash somewhere that you're not too comfortable about, and you typed it in Google, Google knows that about you. Do you realize that? Do you know Facebook knows that about you? That's something that you wouldn't share with a family member or a best friend, right? But yet somehow Google knows about your most personal, right? That's got to bother you, right? Because it bothers me, and that's the way I look at it. When I think about these platforms and these tyrants, I use Google. I use Google for the show. I use Google Cloud. I use the Google Drive because it's convenient for me to work on the show from wherever I am. If I'm working on the show notes, I can be in many locations and work on one document. And I understand that there are other options. I know Microsoft does it, but again, do I trust Microsoft? So I'm actually on the hunt now, and I'm doing some research because, one, I'm going to pull away. I'm going to get away from the Gmail. I don't want nothing to do with Google anymore. I'm going to get rid of it, and I'll pay it. I'll pay for my own email through GoDaddy. I'll do that, and then I'll pay for cloud service. You know what I mean? If it's got to come out of my own pocket, that's fine. But it's just very important for me to archive all of the show data that I have, all of the episodes, all of the show notes. To me, it's important to keep all of those things. So I do need the cloud hosting service. So you know what? I'll ask you guys, the fans, the audience. Listen, if you know a good cloud service that's kind of independent and not shenanigans like Google, let me know, because I'm on the lookout for that. All right? Would you? Yeah. All right. Good. So listen, back to 2021. So here, I guess the point of the show today, guys, from the get go is what's your 5-year plan? Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? You know what I mean? Do you really think that if we continue to receive money from the government, again, I'll just throw this out there. I know a lot of people are like, oh, $600. If you were waiting for those $600 to help you, honestly, I'm not being insulting. I'm not trying to insult anybody. But if you're really looking forward to getting those $600 because you need it, then you really need to rethink your finances. You really need to come up with a better plan in your life. Something's not working for you. And I understand that there are a lot of hardworking people out there that are underpaid, not making, but listen, if that's the case, then you need to hustle on something else. You're not making enough money. If you need those measly $600 from the government, that dirty blood money, I mean, it is our money, but it's blood money. Understand that. But if you need it, we're all going to get it. I mean, I haven't got it yet, but I know we're all going to get it, but I don't even want it. And if I need it, shame on me. I shouldn't need it. This day and age, with the opportunity that's out there, I shouldn't need the $600. And that should be like, you know what, guys? That should set off the alarm in your head. This right here should be an alarm in your head. Never mind where it came from. Never mind all of the government mumbo jumbo that goes behind it. If you want to listen to that, you'll listen to the Disgruntled American podcast. But that's not what we're talking about here today. Today, we're talking about that money. If you need those $600, if those $600 are going to change your life, you need to have a serious conversation with yourself. You're listening to the wrong voice, whatever that voice may be. The devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other, one good, one bad. Which one are you listening to? I mean, to quote Andy Frisella from the Real As Fuck podcast, the bitch voice. That's what he said. That it's the bitch voice. If you're listening to that bitch voice is the voice that doesn't tell you to make your bed. That bitch voice is the one that talks you out of not taking that opportunity. If you're in a situation, if you're in a relationship, if you're in any kind of relationship, I'm not just talking romantic relationship. I'm talking any type of relationship, friendship, business relationship, whatever it may be. And it doesn't bring you happiness and bring you success, then you need to get out of that relationship. If you have friends and your life doesn't move forward, if you continue to need the $600, then you need to find new friends. It's a tough thing to do, right? Because they're your friends and you're emotionally attached to these people and you get along and you're like, yeah, that's great. But they're never going to help you because the only person that knows is the person that has it. The person who worked hard, the person that hustled, the person that made a choice to say, hey, you know what? I am not going to buy a pack of cigarettes. I'm going to invest that money in something that's going to give me a return on my investment. And now you look at that. And I'm 45 years old, and I look back at that, and I look at all the successful people in my life. I mean, my cousins over at Kudu Construction, they are super, super successful. But that took a whole lot of work. I watched those guys work. I watched them hustle and shingles up 3-story houses, 3-story buildings, hustle on this stuff on their shoulders. Like these guys were working all summer long. They did it. They built it themselves. But it took the hard work and effort. You just can't have it and not put the work and effort in to do it. That's it. That's the bottom line. There's no secret to it. There is no secret to it. You can buy these books, how to be successful. You can do all that shit. You can on TikTok, there's a million videos on there that tell you, hey, listen, do this and invest over here and do this. And if you have $1,000, you know what? It's all bullshit. Because if it worked, then everybody be doing it. How long would that last? How long would that last? Seriously. Honestly. You think that's real? None of it's real. The only thing that's real is what you decide is real, what you decide to put forward in front of you, what you decide to challenge. If this is what you're going to do tomorrow, what you did today, and the day after that, and then bitch and complain about it and wait for the government to give you something for it, then this is it. This is your existence. Get comfortable. Pull up a chair. Don't go nowhere. But if you choose, you want more in your life? Like, I'm not going to live the rest of my life wearing a mask. I'm telling you that right now. My family, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And that's not a threat. I'm not threatening anybody. But if it comes to a point, I'll give it fair, ample time, just like everybody else. If there comes a point where I realize that the mask is maybe being overimposed, or if I feel that I'm being bamboozled with these vaccinations, I'm out, guys. I'm telling you, I'm out. And it's, again, I'm not, listen, nobody gives a shit about me. If I'm here or I'm over there, nobody cares. So I'm not threatening anybody. But I'm just, I know what, I'm ringing the alarm and telling you. Like that's the point when you realize, wait a minute, this is the price I got to pay to be around here. This is the price I got to pay to go get a bite to eat. Then what's the point? What's the point, guys? Really, honestly, I'm being honest with you. At the end of the day, what's the quality of life? What is your quality of life? What are you getting out of it? Because you're busting your ass. I know all you essentials out there, Every single essential worker, necessary essential workers, everybody. We've all been out there. We've all been working right through this. What has anyone done for you? Nothing. You've worked, and you know why you've worked? Because you have pride in what you do. Because you feel like you're making a difference. You feel like if you keep going, then the world can keep going. And that's what's driven me. That's why I keep working. That's why I keep getting up every single morning. Because what I do impacts many people. If I do my job successfully, then that means other people can do their jobs. And then they can make some money and they can feed their families. And they don't need $600. So that's the message today, guys. Get up, make your bed, win every day. I mean that. Win every day. Success is it's only as far away as you allow it to be. The worst part of your existence is thinking about the things you should have done. You know that fire is burning inside you. Everyone, every single one of you. And you know what? If you're already doing it, then you know what I'm talking about. Do it. You know, and I extend this challenge to myself. You know, I love this podcast. I love this platform. I love the opportunity to sit here and talk to you all. I know that you're listening. I get the messages. I get the emails. And I got to tell you, it's just so inspiring to me. It means a lot to me. And I know it means a lot to a lot of people because I know a lot of people have a lot to say. You just don't know how to say it. You know, I've struggled all my life with a lot of debilitating situations. And one of those, OCD. You know, and I've never known or had an opportunity to vent, to purge these ideas and thoughts that were in my head until I started podcasting. You know, unfortunately, my only regret in all of this is that I didn't start doing this 20 years ago. Because if I had started doing it 20 years ago, we'd be on episode 2000 by now. Who knows who the sponsorships would be? Life could be different. But that doesn't mean I don't continue to move forward. So the way I got to look at it now is I'm halfway there. Now's my opportunity. As long as you keep listening and you keep supporting the show, then I'll keep sitting behind this microphone and I will keep delivering a message to you. I just wanted to get a message to you all and tell you that I miss you all dearly. I appreciate all of the emails, all of the comments, but I got to get through this, guys. And I think we all need to get through this. I just have to decide, you know, what my social media platforms are going to be for the show. Do I believe that I will be leaving Facebook and Twitter? Most likely the answer to that is yes. Instagram. I know that that's a Facebook company, but I got a lot of personal. If you guys follow me on my personal account, Bobby Fo Show, then you know I've got a lot of personal pictures on there. I've shared a lot of special moments in my life that I'm not ready to let go of. So I got to look into how, you know, I can maybe extract those pictures and keep those things, but I just don't know where Instagram's going to go. Or, you know what, guys? Or I might just keep them for the show, just to market the show out and let you guys know when a show is coming. But as far as posting out, you know, my thoughts, my ideas, and my criticisms, or even my, you know, just whatever, I'll probably do that. Maybe I'm hoping if we get Parler back, I think that's probably where I'm going to go. And I'd love to hear from everybody. Let me know what you think. I mean, do you guys feel the same way? Do you feel like, you know, they let you down? Because I really do. I really do feel like they let me down. Everybody, all of them. You know, again, these are big companies that we put a lot of trust in. Guys, I'm sitting in my studio right now, and I have 6 Apple devices sitting on my desk. That I'm not making that up. 6 Apple devices. So I've invested a lot of money in Apple, and the idea that Apple would have folded to this tyranny and be a part of this, it really bothered me a lot because I feel like I had some trust with the company, and I know that Apple was always big on privacy and trust and privacy, but I just don't know that they can excuse themselves in this arena either. I mean, they were part of it; they included themselves in it, so I have to make a decision on that either too. Do I move forward with it again? Right? This is just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if you're struggling with these same ideas, but I guess maybe this means a lot to me because of what podcasting means to me. The idea that I can use this technology to express my opinion, purge, like I mentioned earlier. For me, it really does make a difference in my life. I know that people listen to this show and they can relate and have a lot of the same struggles as I do. But just, you know, hang in there. I promise you that whatever or however this all turns out, I'll still be there regardless of whatever it takes. I mean, my goodness, the Bobby Kudo Show is on every platform anyway. So I would imagine that, I think the show is safe from being taken down, but again, you just never know. So, I do have an opinion on the show. So again, we don't know about that either. And again, I worry about the DAP, the Disgruntled American Podcast, and we have a lot of strong opinion on that show. So you got to watch out for that as well. You don't know if these companies are listening and deciding that maybe you cross a line that they don't like, and next thing you know, you're gone. All that hard work, all that effort. It's not just words on digital. It's an opinion. It's a thought. This is forever. When I publish these podcasts to you guys, when I put these down, I realize that these will be here long after I am gone. It could be 20 years from now. It could be 30 years from now. It could be 100 years from now. There'll be somebody listening to this podcast. And to you, I say hello, welcome. And I hope that you're doing well. I hope the world is a good place. And but that's only going to matter if what we do today. So for the listeners, the future listeners of the Bobby Kudo Show, I think we owe it to them to make the world a beautiful place. And that starts with you. That starts with me. And that really starts with our success. You have to start with your success. You have to make number one happy, or you can't help anybody else. So take that with you today, guys. Take that with you and never give up fighting. Never give up fighting. You're the only one who's going to fight for you. You may think, listen, you may think that there is someone out there that's going to help you. Yes, you may think that. Then they may. People help. They do. No one gets anywhere without the help of someone else. But at the end of the day, you need to make it on your own. You need to climb that ladder yourself. You just got to get on it. And sometimes it's a ladder. The stronger you build the ladder, the higher you go, right? So if it's a rickety, weak ladder, you're going to be climbing a rickety, weak ladder. If it's a strong ladder and you're willing to put in the time, then that just means you get to go higher. And you don't need anybody to hold that ladder for you, right? So put in the time. Your success is literally in your grasp. Opportunity is there. I have friends I on Facebook. I see them all the time. John Tasonis comes to mind. Darren. These are people that are they got into the real estate. Gary. They got into the real estate business, and I see the postings, and they're selling homes, and they're selling real estate, and they're so successful. And that's the dream, guys. That's the idea that it's never too late. So take it. Do it now. Do it now. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. You don't get another one. This is it. You only get so many revolutions around the sun, and then it's all over. So with that, take that. And I want you all to know that from here on in, it only gets better. We have to choose for it to get better. It's not going to get better on its own. And we'll fight together. I'll be here. And I hope that you're there. And we'll continue on. And what we're going to do is we're going to look forward to episode 50. And on episode 50, I can guarantee you and assure you that I will have Gary in studio for that episode. Gary and I have been talking about some really, really, really cool stuff. More real now than ever before. I told you guys I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm not a rabbit hole guy, but with recent events, with things that are going on, Gary has some really, really cool information that him and I have been talking about, and that he has substantiated and has absolutely blown my fucking mind. And it's going to blow your mind. So be on the lookout for episode 50. That's right around the corner. I might even record this weekend. Recording maybe even Monday. Martin Luther King Day. Rest in peace, Dr. Martin Luther King. And yeah, be on the lookout for that, guys, right? So take care, everyone. I really appreciate it. Welcome 2021. Let's see if we can get another 50 episodes, maybe more in 2021, right? We did 50 in 2020. How about that, right? We can do 50. Wow, that'd be really cool. Imagine that, guys. We are 50 episodes in. I'm so excited. It's amazing. Amazing. Listen, take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Remember the dream. Stay focused, move forward, and follow the dream. And remember, always remember that all roads lead here.